Hey, wonderful humans. It is Scott Miller here from Bop Industries, and welcome to our Business Builders virtual workshop. Now, I hope you're all having a wonderful Monday. And for those of you in Queensland, I hope you're very excited about the news that our lockdown will be ending at 6 o'clock tonight, so we can get back out and enjoy the final couple of weeks of holidays. But for today, while we're stuck in lockdown and while we're inside, at Bop, we thought we'd run a couple of workshops to show you guys how you can do some amazing things and to keep you inspired and entertained over your lockdown and also over your holiday break. So my name's Scott. I'm going to be your lead facilitator today, and today we're going to be doing our Business Builders program. Now, our Business Builders program is one of our absolute favorites and our most popular programs here at BOP because it's going to see you guys learning how you can start to build your own business. Now, we're going to be using this fabulous platform on Facebook Live. So for those of you that aren't familiar, just keep watching. You'll be able to just watch the whole workshop. It'll be a lot of fun. You can also, you have the comment section. So if you have any questions, if you want to tell me about the ideas that you're building, feel free to pop those in the comments. I'll be able to see those and respond to those as well. You'll also be receiving a workbook after this via email, so you can keep continuing on with your ideas. So if you don't get everything down during the next 60 minutes, that's totally okay. But I'd highly recommend, if you don't already, have a pen, have some paper, and have some water near you because it's going to be a pretty action-packed 60 minutes. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you and we're going to dive straight in. Let me quickly share this one with you. All right, here we go. So my name's Scott. As I mentioned, I'm going to be your lead facilitator. Now, for our Business Builders program, this is a 60-minute masterclass. So I'm going to be running you through in 60 minutes, in just 1 hour, how you can start and build your own business, regardless of your age or your location. Now, a few top tips for you guys. The aim of the session today, what we're going to be doing is learning about a whole range of different things, looking at who the customers are going to be for the business that we come up with. We're going to be looking at how we can come up with great business ideas, how we can design awesome products, and how we can build a brand that's going to pop. So it's essentially the 4 key things you need to build a really awesome business. You need customers, you need to have a great idea, you need to have awesome products, and you need to have some really cool branding and marketing to get your idea out there. So that's what we're going to be covering in the next 60 minutes. And I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be an action-packed hour for us. So my name's Scott. I'm going to be your lead facilitator for today. Now, I'm only 20 years old, but I'm actually the CEO and founder of Bop Industries, the company producing these programs for you. Now, for me, I started Bop Industries back when I was in grade 9 as part of a grade 9 business program with just $100 and a couple of business ideas. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how I took this business from selling hearings at local markets to now running workshops and events all around the world. And for me, I wasn't your typical business student. So if you don't think you're going to be the next Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, that's okay. For me in year 12, I actually was a massive performing arts nerd. I did drama, I did music, I also loved my sciences with chemistry, and I was also pretty sporty. I did a bit of swimming and running as well. But now it's been a pretty crazy journey from starting back when I was 14 years old. In the past 6 years, I've gone from selling hearings at local markets here in Brisbane, in Capalaba, for anybody that knows where that is, to now getting to travel all around the world when I'm not stuck down because of lockdown. Getting to deliver all these workshops and events. I'm also one of the top 30 under 30 business leaders for Australia and New Zealand, which is pretty cool as a 20-year-old. I have 10 years left on that list. And I'm also Asia Pacific's Inspiring Youth Leader for 2019 and 2020, which is pretty exciting as well. So it's been a bit of a crazy journey. But in this next hour, I'm going to be teaching you my top tips on how you can build and grow your own businesses. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Now, for me, as I mentioned, when I'm not stuck in one place because of lockdown, I get to travel all around the world, working with amazing students just like yourselves, doing some pretty amazing things. I get to hang out in aircraft cockpits on flights to Los Angeles. I get to speak at tech conferences in Hong Kong, and I get to go from having lunches with CEOs to working with amazing students just like yourselves, getting to do some really amazing things and work on really exciting projects. Now, before we get started, I wanted to quickly talk about 4 key personas that we always use in the business space, because we always say at BOP, teamwork makes the dream work. Now, when you're building a business, it's pretty stressful and it's pretty hectic. There's a lot of things you need to do. And for us, we make sure we have a really well-rounded team, people on our team that can be really good at all sorts of different things. And for this, we use our personas of hipsters, hackers, hustlers, and humanists. Now, I want you to think about which one of these you are. Are you a hipster? Hipsters, they're very creative, they're very design focused, and they have a lot of ideas. They're normally the ones that come up with the initial idea and they make things look really pretty. They do a lot of the branding and the marketing materials. We have our hackers. Now, our hackers are very much the problem solvers. They're going to take the ideas from the hipsters and figure out how to make them work, how to bring them to life. They're very product focused and very technical. They're going to build a really awesome product for your business. We also have our hustlers. Our hustlers are very much the leaders of the group. They keep everybody on track. They're very good at planning, goal setting, and figuring out how we can make money out of the ideas that we're coming up with. And then we have our humanists. Our humanists think about who our customers are and who the people that are going to use our products are. They make sure that everything we do, our customers are going to love, and making sure it's something that's actually going to solve the problem for our customers. So I want you to think about, are you a hipster, a hacker, a hustler, or a humanist? And if you can, pop them in the comments section. I'd love to see what you guys are. I know for me, I'm a bit of a hipster and a hustler. I very much love to come up with all the ideas and make everything look really pretty, but I'm also a hustler. I like to get everybody on track and figure out how we can make money off the different ideas that we're working on as well. So what are you guys? Are you hipsters, hackers, hustlers, or humanists? And it's also okay as well if you're just one of those, or if you can't decide. That's what building a good team is all about. You don't have to be absolutely everyone. You don't need to be a hipster, hacker, hustler, and a humanist. It's really important to build a team. Find friends or find family members that have got strengths that you don't necessarily have, so you can bring together and build a really well-rounded team. Now, we also need to know about the pitch before we get started. Oh, I can see a few different comments coming through. We've got some hipsters and some hustlers, a few more hipsters. Awesome. Now, the next thing to know about starting a business is being able to do a really good pitch. Now, the whole idea of a pitch is how you can convey your business idea to somebody that's never heard about it before. Now, chances are, if you're starting your own business, you know everything there is to know about that product. You've been working on it for a really, really long time, and you know exactly how it works and exactly why your product is awesome. But for other people, say investors or customers, they might have never heard about you and your product before. That's why you need to be able to do a pitch, a really simple, succinct presentation to convey your idea. We always call it an elevator pitch. The whole idea being, if you got in an elevator with Richard Branson or a really famous but really wealthy entrepreneur, how would you convey your idea to them between the time the elevator leaves the bottom floor and reaches the top floor? It's about 30 seconds if you have a chance. And it might go a little bit like this. So for example, I have a water bottle next to me. It's just a regular glass water bottle. And this is how I might pitch it if I just invented this water bottle. Might do something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been sitting in class and you're really, really thirsty? It's been a really long lesson. You're in English or math and you're really bored. You just can't wait for morning to your lunch. And it's a really hot day. It's summer. It's Australia. It's really, really warm. And you want to be able to drink some water, but you don't have anything to carry your water. You've gone to the bubbler at morning tea. You'd filled up your hand with a bit of water and you're sitting there, but the water's leaked out all over the table. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so thirsty. What am I going to do? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the water bottle. This water bottle can be filled with 800 milliliters of the finest, coldest water at morning to your lunch. You can bring it into the classroom. You can have it sitting on your desk. And when you're thirsty, all you do is unscrew the lid and take a drink. And what's more, this water bottle has a lid. So if you tip it upside down, the water stays in and you can tip it right way round. It's glass, so you can use it as a weapon if need be. And it's going to keep your water nice and cold all day long. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the water bottle. Now, for someone that's never heard of water bottles before, you've probably got a bit of an idea of what they are and how they work. You know that it can hold water. You know the sort of problem that it solves, being thirsty in class. And you know some of the features, that it's glass and it also has a lid. So I'd encourage you guys after this workshop, see if you can find random objects around your house and pretend that you've invented them, and then present them to us and do a pitch as if someone's never heard of them before. How would you sell it? Whether it's a pen, or some lip balm, or maybe even a candle or something else like that. How would you sell it if you pretended you just come up with that product? Now, I want you guys to remember how to do a pitch throughout the rest of the session today, because it's going to be really important. At the end of the session, you're going to need to be able to pitch your business ideas that you've come up with. So it's something to think about. Now, before we start building our own business, it's also important to understand the elements that make up a really good business. Now, when you think about it, every business has a number of things in common. Every business has a purpose. Every business has a product. Every business has customers, and every business has a brand. Now, when we talk about a business's purpose, it's looking at, why does this company exist? I mean, why do they do what they do? How are they different from other companies out there? And what's important to them as a company? We need to think about their product. What is their product? Like, what do they actually sell? And what's special about what they sell? And what does this product do? We then need to think about their customers. Who's actually buying their products? You need to think about what kind of people use their products. What sort of customers use the products for, and why do they use them? And how is the product tailored to that type of customer? And then think about their brand. So think about, how does this company and this business promote themselves? And what sort of relationship do they have with their customers? Now, every business has this, whether it's a big business like Apple or Facebook, or whether it's a small business like your local cafe or a local takeaway shop. They all have a purpose, a product, customers, and a brand. And I want you to think about that with a few different businesses. Think about, for example, a company like TikTok. I'm going to show you a quick little 1-minute ad of TikTok. And I want you to think if you can figure out what their purpose, their product, their customers, and their brand is all about. I'm going to play this video and then we're going to go over that in just a second. So when we think about TikTok, we need to think about what their purpose, their product, their customers, and their brand are. So have a think about it and put in the comments if you have any ideas. Their purpose, why does this company exist? Now, TikTok, they put at the end of that video, their slogan is a little brighter inside. Their whole aim is to try and make everyone's lives a little bit brighter. And they're different from competitors such as YouTube because it's much shorter videos and it's much more quick and snappy. When we think about their product of TikTok is the app that you download, and it's being able to create videos on that app. When you think about their customers, they show their customers are everybody. You've got young people, you have old people, and you have everybody in between using TikTok. But their customers seem to like using TikTok because it's really short, it's really fun, and really creative videos. And when you think about their brand, how they promote themselves, it was very colorful, it was very fun, and they showed a lot of different types of people. So I want you to think about that for a few of the different businesses you know and that you use quite frequently. What are some of what's their purpose? What's their product? Who are their customers? And what is their brand? So when you get some time after this workshop, I want you to think about that because every business has got different purposes, products, customers, and brands. And whether they're big or small, they've all got these similar elements. So we've get a bit of time after this workshop, have a look at some of the businesses you know and see if you can identify a few of these different elements for them. Now, if we change slides, we have a look at the different types of businesses that exist. We have hardware type businesses. Now, these are businesses that create physical products that you can touch and you can feel. Companies like Boom, for example, they create physical products like speakers where you can connect your phone and it can play music. So they're all hardware types of businesses. We also have software businesses like Spotify. Now, these are businesses that create products that you can download or access through a device, something like an app or something like a website that you can visit. So for example, Spotify is a great example of a software type business. A business that lets you stream different music. We also have businesses like Google that let you Google things and other different types of software businesses as well. We have service type businesses like Jim's Mowing. Now, service type businesses are businesses that'll let you pay for someone to do a service. For example, mowing your lawns like Jim's Mowing will let you do. Cleaning companies, all sorts of different things like that. We have influencer brands, brands like James Charles, which are people that we might watch on YouTube or follow on Facebook or Instagram that will promote and sell different products. We also have social enterprises, companies like Thank You. Now, social enterprises are fantastic. They're companies that are dedicated to helping make the world a better place. So Thank You products, for example, they sell hand wash, body wash, and different moisturizers. And they donate all of their profits to helping people in third world countries get access to to hygiene products. And then we also have e-commerce companies like the Fifth Watches. Now, e-commerce companies, they don't have physical storefronts. You can't walk into one of their stores. You have to buy their products online. So these are just 6 of the different types of businesses that exist. Now, there are a whole range of different categories of businesses, but these are the 6 we're going to look at. And I want you to think about and write down on your piece of paper, what are some hardware companies, software companies, service-based businesses, influencers, social enterprises, and e-commerce brands that you know of? What are some that you might even have in your house that you've bought before? Also, different types of businesses will fit into a lot of these categories. And these are the categories we're going to be looking at today to start our own businesses. Now, when it comes to coming up with your own business ideas come from absolutely everywhere. I know for me, I keep a notes page in my phone at all times. And whenever a sort of business idea pops into my head, I write it down in my notes page. And then when I get some spare time, when I'm lying in bed about to fall asleep, or whether I'm in a car or public transport somewhere, I'll spend some time thinking about how I can make this business come to life and how I can help solve this problem for someone. And when it comes to coming up with business ideas, here are 3 really great categories to help you out. So let me just make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So business ideas can come from a range of different areas, but these are the 3 we're going to focus on. Firstly, problems you faced in the past month. What are problems that you or other people in your life have complained about in the past month? For example, time management on exams. Like I've always found myself, I used to when I was in school, be like, oh my gosh, it's like the night before the exam and I haven't studied. Where did all my time go? Or tuck shop lines being too long, or nothing to do at morning tea or lunch. They might be problems that you faced or someone that you know has faced in the past month. But then you can also think about products that you don't like or have been disappointed by. For example, a moisturizer that was too oily, an app that didn't work like it should, something that you think you can improve. And then also too, thinking about things that you're good at or could do easily that people might pay you money for. For example, mowing the lawn or helping someone take or edit photos. These are 3 key categories that I always use when coming up with business ideas. Problems that I've faced in the past month that I think I can solve. Products that I don't like that I think I can make better. And things that I'm good at that I think people might pay me money for. So I want you to think about and write these down on your piece of paper. What are some problems that you faced in the past month? What are some products that you don't like that you've been disappointed by? And what are some things you're good at and think you could do easily? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. It's not much time at all, but if you don't get enough time, you can always come back at the end. And I want you to write this down on a piece of paper. You can also pop some of your ideas up in the comments section. We'd love to see the sort of ideas that you're coming up with to start your business. All right, I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to put a bit of music on in the background. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. On a piece of paper, write down as many problems you faced in the past month, products that you don't like or have been disappointed by, or things that you're good at and could do easily. I'll see you guys in 2 minutes.
Window down, see me with my keys. Stella, we pull up in the Benz with a whole gold thing. Window down, see me with my keys. Stella, we pull up in the Benz with a whole gold thing. Window down, see me with my keys. Stella, we pull up in the Benz with a whole gold thing. Window down, see me with my keys. Stella, we pull up in the Benz with a whole gold thing. I'm still alone. I'm still alone in my mind. I'm still alone. I'm still alone in my mind. I'm still alone. I'm still alone in my mind. I'm still alone. Window down, give me with my keys. Stella, we pull up in the Benz with a whole gold thing. Window down, give me with my keys. Stella, we pull up in the Benz with a whole gold thing. 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 With a whole gold thing.
All right, team, start wrapping that up now. And we'll come back. Awesome. So I've loved seeing some of the comments in the chat, seeing all the different ideas you guys are coming up with. Everything from chargers that don't work to soap that's too liquidy, messy toothpaste lids, even taking photos and walking the neighbor's dog. These are all really great ideas on how you can start your own small business. Now, for us, I always say it's important to look at what your MVP is. MVP stands for minimum viable product. Now, minimum viable product is what's the most basic thing you can do to start making some money. I always say with under $100 is the best way to start, especially as a young person. Now, the whole idea being if you can start something with under $100 that starts making money, you can keep reinvesting that money back into your business to continue growing it bigger and bigger. That's exactly what I did. I started with $100 selling hearings at local markets with some friends as part of that grade 9 business program. And we kept reinvesting our money back into the program, back into the business, to grow it bigger and bigger. And that's how we got started as a group of 14-year-olds. So I'd recommend that for you guys, looking at the things you can do with under $100 to get started on your business journeys. And these are all really great ideas you're coming up with. I love seeing them all coming through. Now, what we do next is it's something we like to call rapid design. Now, a design sprint is something that's used quite often by companies like Google and other big tech companies over in the United States in a place called Silicon Valley, which is just outside of San Francisco, where a lot of the big technology startups work. These are companies like Google and YouTube and Facebook and Microsoft and all those big tech companies like that. They all use design sprints when it comes to coming up with ideas, because it's a really effective way to flesh out ideas, figure out how they're going to work, and get all of your ideas down on a piece of paper. The good ideas, the bad ideas, and everything in between. So what I want you to do is, out of all the ideas you've just put down, pick one that you're really passionate about, whether it's one product that you've been disappointed by that you really think you could make better, one problem that you've encountered that you think you can fix, or one thing that you think you could do to start making some money with. And I want you to flesh out how that might look as a product, a service, or a business idea, thinking about the 6 different types of products that we looked at before. And what I want you to do is, on your piece of paper, draw 8 boxes. So you can see on my screen here, I'll just make it a little bit bigger for you. We have 8 different boxes: sketch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And what you're going to do is spend 60 seconds per box fleshing out how that idea might work. Now, again, you can put whatever you want down. It can be great ideas, it can be bad ideas, big ideas, small ideas. This is your opportunity to get everything down on one piece of paper. And you can write, you can draw, you can do anything you want to flesh out your idea. I've seen some people do full, very elaborate sketches of how each idea is going to work. I've seen some people write really long lists of exactly what they need for that idea. But I want you to write down 8 different solutions to the same problem or the same business idea that you've come up with. And again, this is your opportunity to think big, think different, get all of your ideas down on a piece of paper and figure out how they're going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you little reminders every 60 seconds to move on. But I want you to get 8 sketches down in the next 8 minutes. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be pretty busy. It's going to be pretty hectic. But I want you guys to think big, think different, have those crazy ideas, and then figure out how to make them work. So again, I'm going to make my screen big. I'm going to put some music on for you guys, and I'll give you all an alert every 60 seconds. Now, every time I pop my voice back in and be like, all right, guys, moving on to the next one, I want you to put your pen down on whatever sketch you're working on and move over to the next. And then in the next 8 minutes, you should have 8 different sketches for 8 different business ideas all finished on your piece of paper. Make sure if you do have any of these ideas and you get some time and you finish early, pop them in the chat. I'd love to see what you're coming up with. And if you have any questions, just let us know, and our team are more than happy to help answer them for you. All right, so I hope you've got your 8 boxes drawn down now. I'm going to give you 8 minutes, 60 seconds per box. Your time starts now.
Past midnight as we cut through the city. Yeah. The streets are getting restless. Good times, bad decisions. Yeah. It's a midnight and the sirens are mending some hearts. But we're the losers on the back seat, singing love will tear us apart. It's a midnight, celebrating tomorrow. It's a midnight, and we're just getting going. We keep on running through a red light, like we're trying to burn the night away. Before it falls apart. past midnight and the speakers are blowing. Yeah, yeah, we want the bodies on the billboards, not the lives underneath them. Yeah, yeah, and now we're crying out the walls again, and it's a corner past the world.
All right, team, 1 minute down. It's 1 minute down. You should be moving over to sketch number 2. You keep going. You have 1 more minute for sketch number 2.
We keep on running through a red light, like we're trying to burn the night away, 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 oh, away, oh. Why we always chasing after something, like we're trying to throw our lives away, 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 oh, away, away, oh. This is our neighborhood. Sit all together, darling, before it falls apart. Come with me, sit all together.
All right, team, another minute's down. You should be moving on to sketch number 3. Moving on to sketch number 3.
I don't know what I'm saying. We never knew what we had. Never know what I've had. We keep on running through a red light, like we're trying to burn the night away, 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 oh, away, away, oh. Why we always chasing after something, like we're trying to throw our lives away, 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 oh, away, away, oh. This is my favorite part, so come with me, sit all together, darling, before it falls apart. Come with me, sit all together.
All right, team, you should be moving on to sketch number 4. Another minute is up. Moving on to sketch number 4 now.
Lift your hands and voices, free your mind and join us. You can feel it in the air. Oh, it's a passion. Oh, you can feel it in the air. Oh, it's a passion. Rhythm is a dancer.
All right, team, we're halfway through. Moving on to sketch number 5. It should be pretty fast. I hope you're all keeping up. I'm moving on to sketch number 5 now.
Rhythm is a dancer, it's a close companion. You can feel it everywhere. Oh, lift your hands up and your voice says, free your mind and join us. It's a passion. Oh, you can feel it in the air. Oh, it's a passion.
All right, team, moving on to sketch number 6. Sketch number 6. Moving on now.
Rhythm is a dancer. Rhythm is a dancer.
All right, team, moving on to sketch number 7 now. Moving on to sketch number 7. This should be your second last one. We're nearly there.
And I just have to live, and I wanna give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. It's kind of something.
All right, team, and the final one, number 8. Now, like I mentioned, it can be tricky coming up with these ideas. You got to think big, think differently about how you might be able to solve these challenges for people and how this idea might work. So you have 1 more minute left. This is number 8, and then we're going to be moving on.
Inside out and round and round, upside down. Boy, you turn me inside out and round. Instinctively you give to me the love that I need. I cherish the moments with you.
All right, team, and that is time up. So I hope you guys had a bit of success with that. It's a really, really tricky one. I'm trying to get 8 totally different ideas down in just 8 minutes. It's something that a lot of adults even struggle with, but I hope you guys had a good time, and I hope you guys got a lot of ideas down as well. The more ideas you have down, the easier it's going to be to flesh them out as well. Now, what we do from here is we take one idea and we start to extend it a little bit further. Let me just quickly change slides. So what we're going to do now is pick one idea and answer these 4 questions. These are essentially the foundation of what your business is and how it's going to work. So firstly, what's the problem that you're solving for your customer? At the end of the day, every business solves a problem for somebody. So think about what's the problem that you're solving for your customer. Then think about what's the product or service that you're going to sell to help your customer solve that problem. Then think about what do you need to make that product or service possible. And finally, how are you better than other products out there? Now, you don't have to be better in every single way. You can be just slightly different or slightly better in some way in particular. But I want you to think about these 4 questions and start to answer those on your piece of paper. So what's the problem that you're solving for your customer? What's the product or service you're going to sell to help them? And what do you need to make that product or service possible? And also to how are you better than other products out there? Feel free to pop those ideas in the chat as well. I'd love to see the sort of ideas you've been working on and the businesses that you're coming up with. So yes, telling us what's the problem, what's the product or service you're going to sell, what you need to make it possible, and how you're going to be better than other products out there. I'm going to give you 1 minute to pop that in the chat or write it down on a piece of paper. I'd love to see what ideas you guys are coming up with as well.
I can see that you're watching me. Come over, talk to me. Need you to give me a sign. You got that something sweet that don't come easily. It's what I need tonight. I came here for love, for someone to hold me down. I won't give it up. No, I want you to reach out. I came here for love.
All right, team. I've loved seeing some of the different ideas you guys are coming up with as well. The micro SD cards, the couch consoles, the different games and holograms you guys are creating. It's really, really cool to see the ideas you guys are coming up with. You've definitely got the gist of it, and those ideas are coming on really, really nicely. So it's important to remember that you're answering these questions in your pitch as well, because these are the 4 things people really want to know about your business idea when you're working on it. What's the problem you're solving? What's the product or service? What do you need to make it happen? And how is it going to be better? So moving on, we're going to have a look at customer personas. Now, as I mentioned before, every business needs customers, and they need to know who their customers are. Because at the end of the day, every decision that you make when coming up with your business idea needs to be with your customers in mind. It needs to be something that your customers are really going to love. And businesses big and small all have got customer personas, so they can understand these customers and make decisions and build products these customers are going to love. Now, these are a few examples of Spotify's customer personas. So a few of you guys might have heard of Spotify before. A few of you guys might use Spotify. I know I love Spotify. It's a music streaming platform that lets you play music off your phone, off your iPad, off your laptop, any device like that. And for them, they break their customers into 3 key categories. They have their daily commuters. Now, daily commuters, they say, are 20 to 34 years old. They enjoy listening to music on the go, and they like to share music between their friends and family. But some of their issues are they don't have time to explore new artists, and there are too many choices. Spotify also has their heavy listeners. Heavy listeners are a little bit younger. They're 18 to 24-year-olds, and they listen to their favorite tracks all the time, at any time, anywhere. When they're going to work, when they're at home, when they're falling asleep, they always love listening to music. And then you have your concert goers. Now, concert goers are typically 18 to 34 years old. They like to be notified of upcoming concerts, and they like to connect with friends and family and find their favorite artists and bands. And I want you to think about, are you a daily commuter? Are you a heavy listener? Are you a concert goer? Are you something totally different? Make sure to pop that in the comments as well if you think you really are one of those. I'd love to find out. But this is an example of how Spotify understands who their customers are. They break them into key categories. And then from there, they take it even further. They have a look at their personas. So this is an example of Peggy, one of Spotify's personas that they've fleshed out even further. So you can see Peggy's got a statement that creating a playlist is just like nurturing a baby. And I'm sure just by hearing that, we all know a Peggy in our lives. You can see they've got some information about Peggy around her age, her occupation, where she lives, and all that sort of stuff. She has information about her goals, her needs, her frustrations, and her motivations, her personality type, her tech knowledge, and also to her brand affiliations. Now, this is really important because the more you know about your customers, the more in-depth information you're going to be able to find out about them, and the better a product you're going to be able to build for them. So I want you to think about who the type of customers might be for your product. Who's going to really want your product, and who's going to love using your product, and what type of people are they? Now, for me, one of my favorite parts of this is looking at the brand affiliations. Now, brand affiliations are a really great way to see what sort of other brands they might use. So, for example, here you can see that Peggy probably already uses YouTube, Instagram, a brand called City Sports, and also Apple. Now, this is a great example to know because it'll help you build your own brand. Just by knowing that Peggy uses Instagram, YouTube, and Apple, for example, we can start to think about how YouTube, Instagram, and Apple create their website, what sort of products they sell, how much they charge, and how people use their products. Because these big brands have already invested a significant amount of money trying to figure out how people like Peggy work and how they can build brands that Peggy will really love. So you can start to emulate a lot of those elements. So for example, if you're creating a product that Peggy might want, you might use gradients like Instagram does. You might use recommendations like YouTube does, and you might use really sleek design like Apple does, because chances are someone like Peggy who already uses those brands would really like those features. So it's important to think about who your personas are. Now, unfortunately, I really want to make sure you guys finish on time, so we don't have time to ask Spotify our customer personas right now. But I want you to think about it, and also too in the workbook that's going to be sent out as soon as this class finishes, you're going to have this template to create your own customer personas as well. But while I'm chatting, if you get some time, make sure to write some notes on your piece of paper around the type of people that might use your products. Now, next up, we're going to have a look at product design. So it's really important to design products that our customers are going to love. And it's important to incorporate some product design elements into that. So think about what they want the product to look like, how they want it to work, and how much they want to pay for that product. Because at the end of the day, that's how businesses work. They sell products or services to make money and to keep going. So having a look at product design, there are a few key types of product design elements that I'm going to run you guys through. So the first one is design and aesthetic. Now, design and aesthetic is used by a range of companies. One of which, though, is Stranger Times watches. They're an Aussie watch company that create really beautiful watches. Now, they use design and aesthetic to be able to sell more products and to build really awesome products as well. So, for example, with design and aesthetic, there are a few key elements. It creates a really strong brand and drives brand recognition. You can see the little logo etched on the back of all of their watches. You can see the brand recognition there. People see that and they know, wow, this is a Stranger Times watch. It's just like seeing the Apple on a device when you buy an Apple device, or even seeing like the Ferrari logo on the front of a Ferrari. You're like, wow, I know exactly what type of product that is. It also increases social media engagement. People want to be associated with your brand. So they're more likely to post photos and videos with that product and with that logo being like, wow, look at me, I just bought this. It also means you can charge a little bit more. So by having a product or a brand that people really want to buy and a really beautiful product, people are willing to pay more for it. And we always hear about the Apple tax, which is joked about, that Apple, just because they've got a really good brand, charge more for their products than other companies. It also means these products are really desirable, they're quite limited edition, and they're very bespoke. So people think that by charging more for it, they can only get a certain number. It's not like you can go out and buy 100 of the same product like you might for a cheaper brand. And it's also much more bespoke, which means it looks like it's been crafted just for you. So design and aesthetic is one of the different design principles you can use when building your own products. So you could create a product that focuses really heavily on design and making sure it's got a certain aesthetic about it, making sure it's really beautiful. But then on the other end of the spectrum, we have low-cost design. So companies like Bic are a great example. They create pens, whiteboard markers, and a whole range of different products like that. You've probably used a Bic product when you've been in school. Now, Bic focus on low-cost design. They don't charge very much for their product, but that drives really high sales. People buy loads of these products at the same time. So a school might buy 1,000 Bic pens at a time, or a company might buy 1,000 whiteboard markers at a time. It also leads to bulk orders and corporate orders. So like those schools and companies buying a lot at the same time. It's a really easy sell and a really fast way to make some money. But low cost normally means low quality. So if you're buying a pen for $1, you probably don't expect it to last a really long time. But it's very convenient and it's very accessible and affordable for everybody, which is the perk of the low cost design. So that's another option for you guys when you're building a product. Do you want to build a product that's really cheap, that everybody can afford and that'll drive really high sales, but might not be very high quality? This is a really great way to get some money coming in the door when you're just starting. But then you can also focus on customer experience. Now, Zappos is a really great company that focuses on customer experience. And their founder famously said that he cares more about customer experience than he does the products that they're actually selling. Now, Zappos is a shoe delivery company, and they focus really heavily on making sure that buying shoes online is a really pleasant experience for everybody. And they do a whole range of things, like, for example, giving you free shipping and free returns if you don't like the shoes that you buy or the products that you get. They really look at how can we make our customers really love our brand. And customer experience is great. It results in increased brand loyalty and really high retention rates. Customers will shop with you again and again and again. But it can be quite expensive to execute. But it also gets great social media engagement. People are likely to like your posts, comment on your page, and just love advocating for your brand. It also means very happy staff and happy customers, and you can also charge extra for that experience. So going back to a company like Apple, they can charge extra because they know that there's probably an Apple store or someone that can fix your device within a certain distance of you. So customer experience is another great way to go about it. You can think about how good or how bad you want the customer experience to be for your brand and what you want customers to say about your company. And then you also have companies that focus on the brand affinity side of things. So Apple, again, is a really great example of this. Now with Apple, it creates a community and a dependency on their products. Once you buy an iPhone, you need to buy an iPad, then a MacBook, then an Apple TV, then a HomePod, then an Apple Watch. And before you know it, you've got all of these Apple products at home, and you could never think of using anything else. And it creates really strong brand advocates. So I encourage you guys at dinner tonight, or when you go back to school a little later this month, ask your friends who are Apple people and who are Android people. And you'll see that there are people that are very much for or against these brands. You can also charge more and create a bit of a lifestyle. And it also lets you do what you want with your products. You can do things like Apple did, where they removed the headphone jack, and people just have to buy phones without headphone jacks now. It's a really interesting way of doing it if you create a whole suite of products that people can buy, so they only shop with you and never shop with your competitors. And there's also customizable design. So customizable design, Android is a really great way of doing a really great example of that. And Samsung, it creates a community of creators. Everything's very open. It's very easy to edit and change and create something that you really love. And it builds a community of creators and really strong advocates. You also get a lot of free developers and innovators with people sending you photos and videos of what they've done with your product. And you get really exciting advancements in your technology, and it attracts a community. So it's important for you guys to think about what sort of product you guys want to create. Is it going to be a product with customizable design, a product with really strong brand affinity, a product with good customer experience, a product with low-cost design, or a product with really strong design and aesthetic? Now, there are pros and cons to each of these. There's no right answer, but it's important for you guys to be designing a product and a business that really works for you and your customers. So do your customers want something that's really pretty but very expensive? Do they want something that's very cheap and very affordable that they can get lots of? Do they want something with really good customer experience? Are they going to want to talk to your team a lot and it works? Or are they going to want something with brand affinity where they can buy a whole range of products from the one business? Or do they want something a bit more customizable that they can mix and match to design something they're really going to enjoy? It's something for you guys to think about. Which one of these do you want to be? And like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. It's totally up to you to decide. And then we have a look at our branding and marketing. Again, we'll also send all of this information out after the workshop when you guys have booked your tickets via an email. So you can go back and have a look at all those product design elements and figure out how you want your product to look. But now we're going to move on to branding and marketing. Now, branding and marketing is really important because you need to be able to spread the word about your business. Tell people how it works and what's happening. Because at the end of the day, you can build the best product ever, but if you don't actually promote it, nobody's going to know about it. So it's really important that you build a really strong brand and you market it. Now, as far as why this is important, these are some statistics we've pulled together on why marketing is really important. So e-commerce, like I talked about, selling products online. Sales are this year meant to hit $4.5 trillion. That's a lot of money of people just buying products online. I'm sure you guys or your parents might have been doing a bit of online shopping during the lockdowns we've had over the past 12 months. It's gaining a lot of popularity, especially now during COVID. We're also seeing people do 63,000 Google searches every second. So that means that a lot of people are going to Google and searching for different products online. But of those 63,000 searches every second, only 7% of those actually get to the third page on Google, which is why it's really important that you make sure that your business and your website appear on the first page when people Google your business. As well as that, we also see 3.3 billion people on social media already. That means platforms like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube are gaining a lot of popularity, and there are a lot of people there looking for different things. So it's a really great way to promote your business. And there are over 5 billion YouTube videos watched every single day, which is just crazy to think that people are watching 5 billion videos a day. I'm not sure if you guys do watch YouTube. Are you contributing to that? If so, make sure to pop it in the comments. You guys avid YouTube watchers. I'd love to know how many videos you think you'd watch every day. And we're also seeing an increase in voice search, people asking their smart assistants at home, things like Google and Alexa, or asking their Siri as well. We're seeing 50% increase of voice searches last year alone. That means people are asking their devices to find them things more and more, which means you need to be accessible online as well. So these are just a few statistics to set the scene for you guys when it comes to marketing and what you need to know. But there are also a lot of really weird and wonderful ways you can get attention. Now, there are the traditional routes of marketing on things like Facebook and Google and Instagram and YouTube, but you can also do a lot to stand out from the crowd. And these are a few really great examples. So this is someone called Richard Branson. For those of you that don't know about Richard Branson, he's a massive idol of mine, and he's the founder of Virgin. So for anyone that's flown Virgin Australia or Virgin Atlantic, two of his airlines, you might have used Virgin Money or gone to the Virgin gyms or used Virgin Mobile. He's the guy that started that whole brand. And he started it back when he was 16 years old, initially just as a school magazine. Really quickly, the brand grew, and now he has hundreds of companies around the world doing a whole range of different things. But Richard Branson's been known for doing some really weird and wacky things to stand out from the crowd. You can see on the side here, he's dressed up as a flight attendant and served on a flight before. He had a bet with the CEO of AirAsia, one of their biggest competitors, and he lost the bet. And what he did was he dressed up as an AirAsia flight attendant, a female flight attendant as well, might I add. He had a skirt, he had stockings, he had heels on, and even makeup as well. You can see his hair's pulled back and he's got lipstick and eyeliner. And he served on a long-haul flight from Perth for the whole flight, serving drinks, serving food, and doing a big publicity stunt. And it was really great because it got in all of the media, all of the newspapers, on all of the TV stations, and he got a whole bunch of business coming to his airline because he stood out from the crowd. He's also famously dressed up for other occasions, like launching flights to Scotland when he did. He wore kilts. And he's also done things like flown big hot air balloons across whole continents with the Virgin logo on it. He's driven tanks through New York City to promote Virgin Cola. He's driven in aqua cars across the English Channel to promote new flights. And he's even dressed up as a bride to promote a new company that he was launching that sold bridal gowns. Again, he dressed up as a bride with his hair in a perm, makeup and everything like that. Now, these are just some examples of some really weird and wacky ways you can stand out from the crowd. You don't just have to go through the norms. Think about for your business, what can you do to stand out and to really make an impact on your local community and on your customers to convey your brand. These are a few really great examples. And for anyone that hasn't, I'd highly recommend Googling Richard Branson. There are some really awesome examples of what he's done in business, especially from when he was really young, starting his first business as a school magazine. Now, there are also some really great brands that dominate, and it's important to think about this with your company. So these are 4 brands that we use their brand name instead of the actual product that they sell. So for example, if I cut my finger or cut my toe, I'll be like, ow, I need a Band-Aid. But Band-Aid's actually a brand that started and it's a business that runs. It's the real name for their product is adhesive bandage. Same with as well, instead of, oh, I need to get a ride share, I need to get a taxi, I'll quite often say, oh, I need to get an Uber to get somewhere. Instead of asking for cling wrap, I'll normally ask for Glad wrap to cover something up. And if I need to write something on some butcher's paper, I'll normally ask for a Sharpie as opposed to a permanent marker. Now, these are 4 really great examples of brands that dominate, that have such a strong brand loyalty that people use the company name instead of the actual product that they sell when they talk in day-to-day life. Now, that's sort of the goal you want to get to as a company, is having a brand that is that well known. And it's also important as well to know the color emotion guide. Now, again, this is going to be in the workbook that's sent out at the end of the workshop. But the color emotion guide is a really great way to understand what sort of colors evoke different emotions inside people. Because you, as a business, you're going to need to design a logo and think about what your brand's going to look like. And this color emotion guide showcases all the different colors that you could use in your logo and the sort of emotions it makes people feel. You have colors like yellow that produce optimism, clarity, and warmth. Colors like green that showcase peace, tranquility, and growth and health. And even colors like purple that are very creative, imaginative, and wise. Now, this color emotion guide is something that companies big and small use. Big companies use and do a lot of research on how do we want our customers to feel when they look at our logo. And for us at BOP, we used it as well. Our BOP logo, as you can see in the top corner here, is pink, purple, and blue. And we thought of it, and we thought, what sort of colors do we want, what sort of emotions do we want people to think when they think of BOP? So we have a pinky red. We want people to be excited. We want to showcase excitement, youthfulness, and bold. We want to be purple, be creative, imaginative, and wise. But because we do education, we also want a bit of blue in there to be trustworthy, dependable, and strong. So I want you to think about as well for your business, what sort of colors do you want to use in your branding materials? Think about the sort of emotions you want to make people feel. Again, this is going to be sent out in the workbook at the end of this session, so you'll have some time to go into it in a bit more depth. And finally, we want you guys to start doing a pitch. So the whole way to bring it together is in a pitch. Like I showed you at the start of the session with the water bottle, you need to think of how you can communicate your business idea in a really clear, really concise way. And what we've done here is we've developed a pitch structure that should be about 30 to 60 seconds in length. It's going to help you showcase your idea and tell us what you've been working on. Now, what you can do is you can insert your own information into the italicized bold colors, and that'll help you create your own pitch for your business. So we want to know what your names are, and you need to come up with a company name as well. We want to know what your product name is, and we want to know what the product's going to do. We want to know what the problem that it's going to be solving is. We want to know who the product's for and how they're going to use it. And finally, we want to know why you're awesome. This is a good way to stand out from the crowd. Now, this is a pitch template that we put together, but you don't have to use it. You can create any sort of template you want to help communicate your pitch to us. But this is just a great way to get you started. So that's my sort of crash course in how you guys can come up with your own ideas, your own business ideas. As mentioned, this pitch template is going to be in the email that's about to be sent out to you guys, so you can keep working on it. But we'd love to see what sort of ideas you come up with by sending us an email, popping it in the comments, or sharing it on socials and tagging us, because we'd love to see what sort of business ideas you've come up with. So that's a wrap for the Business Builders session. We finished a few minutes ahead of schedule. And as mentioned, we're going to be sending an email out to you guys right now. So you've got all of this information in a workbook that you can start working through and spend a bit more time fleshing out. But we'd love to know what ideas you come up with. As mentioned, we've gone through a whole lot of information today. We've gone through how all different businesses work. We've gone through the sort of ideas, strategies you can use to come up with your own business ideas, rapid ideation strategies, who your customers are, how your products work, and what your branding and marketing is going to look like. But now it's time for you guys to go and actually bring these ideas to life. And that's what you're going to do now. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up the live stream here, but I hope you've enjoyed. Now go and download that workbook, start working on your ideas and bringing it to life. And please post it, send it to us on social media, send it to us through an email, however you want to get your idea to us. We'd love to see, because we're going to be doing a competition where the person with the best ideas gets to spend a 30-minute Zoom call with me, but I can help you bring those business ideas to life. And you're also going to win a couple of holograms as well, which is some really cool tech that we also produce here at Bob. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you want even more, there's going to be an airline builders program running this afternoon at 2 o'clock, which is in 3 hours, where we're going to be building our own airlines. And I hope I can see some of you guys there. But please go download that workbook, start working on your ideas, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. It's been such a pleasure working with you all today. And I hope I can see you again very, very soon. Thank you guys so much. Have a great morning.